In this video, I'm talking about the 10 best foods to eat to boost your brain power. One thing that I loved in medical school that they would do before exams, that my teachers would do, is they would give us food that helps with our brain power. A lot of things that was done with research, that they would always provide like a tray of different types of foods to eat right before we took the exam, which I did appreciate because us as medical students, we would be rushing, sometimes not even having breakfast, which is a bad idea. But a lot of times our teachers would provide certain foods that are evidence-based to help with boosting your brain power. And I want to share with you some of those that were shared with me in medical school as I was going through medical school, but also ones that I have found through research and things that I use on a consistent basis, as well as I recommend to a lot of my patients and clients. The first one, and it's also pretty obvious, is that eating fatty fish, because it has a lot of the omega-3s. Now, if you think about it, our brain is mostly made up of fat. In fact, it's about 60% of it is fat, and half of that fat is made up of a lot of omega-3s. And fish, especially like salmon, a lot of different fatty fish, has a lot of great omega-3s, which, why is omega-3 so important? Well, it does provide of helping building a lot of these different types of neurons throughout our body, as well as it does have the anti-inflammatory antioxidants that do help with the also making sure that our brain is protected. But most importantly is that the omega-3s are the building blocks to helping build the brain and building different neurons, but also it's important to protect the brain from cognitive decline. The second food, and I use this a lot still today and use it a lot in medical school for sure, is broccoli. Broccoli is so important to use to help with brain, not because it's a vegetable, because yes, all vegetables I think can be really important for the brain, but broccoli more importantly because it does have a high amount of vitamin K, and vitamin K is a great for helping with anti-inflammatory. It also helps with as an antioxidant, but also it's been shown that it can help improve memory. They've done some research by people who consume more consumption of vitamin K can help with memory and also cognition with the brain. The third thing, and this is something they would always provide, is blueberries. Now, berries are great all because they have antioxidants, have great properties for helping with anti-inflammatory, help with free radicals that protect, free radicals can be damaging to our brain. So something like blueberries that have great antioxidants can help protect our brain so that we don't have cognitive decline as we get older. The fourth one, and they also would provide this, is pumpkin seeds. Now, why pumpkin seeds in particular? Because pumpkin seeds have a lot of great macro and micronutrients that are provided in there, specifically micronutrients such as zinc, magnesium, copper, and iron. Now, looking at magnesium and zinc alone, those two are really important for our neurotransmitters, building those neurotransmitters, and are very vital for the different chemicals throughout our brain that we use on a daily basis. And having nutrients like magnesium and zinc that you can get from pumpkin seeds because they have a high amount of source can be very beneficial. Now, copper on the other hand is very important for definitely brain signaling, and so it's something that they need to utilize by copper, but also not for our brain, but also throughout our body. And then of course iron is important as well, as an important key factor for different neurotransmitters to build those different neurotransmitters that we need to have focus and attention throughout the day. The fifth one is eating fruits that have high amounts of vitamin C. So things like orange, limes and lemons, stuff like that have high amounts of vitamin C. Now, why is vitamin C a very important thing for the brain? Well, because it is an important vitamin that actually does help with also protecting us from free radicals. And the brain does need to be protected because free radicals can be very damaging, not only for our brain, but also throughout our body. But also more importantly, vitamin C is also important for different neurotransmitters, to build different neurotransmitters such as dopamine, serotonin, norepinephrine, epinephrine. Those types of neurotransmitters are going to also help impact our mood, but also impact how we also do pay attention, focus, and be able to memorize things. The sixth one is eggs. Now, eggs is a great source of B vitamins and choline. Now, you can definitely supplement B vitamins, but it's great to get it from our food source, and eggs has lots of different variety of different B vitamins. Now, why is B vitamins important? It does go back to also helping with the also building different neurotransmitters. It's an important part of the process of building the dopamine, building serotonin, building different other types of neurotransmitters that help really stabilize our mood, but it also helps with our memory, our focus, and attention. Choline also helps to stabilize our mood. It also can impact in our memory as well. So definitely eating good sources of eggs is also a great way, but also has great fats as well. And as you know, healthy fats are going to be really good impact on our brain. The seventh thing is nuts. Now, I would say more importantly is something that also in medical school they would provide is walnuts, because walnuts have actually been studied and seeing that it does help impact our memory and cognitive function. Because if you think about it, walnuts actually do look like a brain. When you crack open a walnut, it looks exactly like a brain. And it's interesting, eating foods that look like what we want in part of our bodies. Now, but to kind of go dive a little bit more deeper is that, walnuts do have a great source of vitamin E, which is a great antioxidant for protecting the brain. But more importantly, it also has zinc. And we've talked about zinc before, how zinc is an important key element for building neurotransmitters, for helping with our mood, helping with memory, and also cognitive retention. But just like with all nuts, they are also a great source of healthy fats. And healthy fats are all, of course, really helpful for the brain. The eighth thing is dark chocolate. Yes, dark chocolate. You would think, it's kind of candy, but we're talking about dark chocolate here, especially if you can get more pure dark chocolate, something they would also provide. I know a lot of medical students, they would always have their dark chocolate, something that we would have to help boost our memory and retention, because they have seen that dark chocolate has flavonoids, and flavonoids they've seen in research does help not only protect the brain, but it also does help boost memory and also improve mood. In fact, they did a study of 900 people where they had them take dark chocolate versus other people that were just taking crackers or just not taking dark chocolate. And they did find by having them do different types of memory tasks and different testing is that people who were taking the dark chocolate did actually scored higher than those who did not. They've also seen that it's also helped improve mood over time in these different types of research. The ninth thing is poultry. Now, protein is very important. Now, if you can get more of a cleaner source that doesn't have high fat, so doing something like poultry, so chicken, turkey. And the reason why poultry is important and just protein in general is because it provides a lot of the amino acids, and our neurotransmitters rely on all sorts of different types of amino acids. What poultry does provide, it does have choline, but it also does have things like iron, which are both really important for helping mood stabilization, helping protect the brain, but also boost brain mood and memory. The 10th best type of food to help boost your brain is turmeric. Now, why turmeric? Turmeric has an active ingredient called curcumin. Now, curcumin has been shown in research that it actually does cross the blood-brain barrier. So when it can cross the blood-brain barrier, it can impact the brain in a good, impactful way. And how it does that, it can improve memory, but also it does boost derived neurotrophic factors, which what are these? These are human growth hormones that does help with brain cells, in growing brain cells and improving those. So by helping brain cells grow, you could see how that can really benefit with cognitive function as well as improving memory. But also curcumin does help with anti-inflammatory, as well as it's a great source as an antioxidant, which does protect the brain. Now, turmeric, you got to keep in mind is that turmeric, it only has a certain percentage of curcumin. Sometimes it's best to actually get it from supplement form, because a lot of these research studies actually were using more supplement form. But it still doesn't hurt to start incorporating more of turmeric as a spice into your diet, because it has those great benefits improving in the body as an anti-inflammatory and a protectant to the brain. Now, if you want to know more foods and nutrients that can help improve your brain or help with ADHD, anxiety, depression, stuff like that, then go and watch this playlist right here where I go in detail of specific foods that really do help improve your brain, improve your focus, as well as help with as a mood stabilizer by important foods to eat. And go ahead and watch this video right here, and I'll see you guys there.